Hello everybody, this is Aaron Dominion, and I want to get into a little bit of a modder's rant because of some events that have been happening in the last few years and recently. If you don't want to listen to me rant, please exit the video. With the state of modding at the moment, it's really a toxic atmosphere, and I wanted to touch on the trends of today. So, with monetization on YouTube and other platforms, you see more modders lashing out at reviewers and end users for showcasing their mod. Showcasing their mod in their video. MXR is probably one of the biggest examples, even though I personally don't want anything to do with MXR, with how he presents the mods, but that's just my opinion, and I respect people that go to just to find out what's the newest and latest thing, and anybody else that's a reviewer out there. I'd much rather see my mod being showed off than being outraged because of how it's portrayed or something like that. Including third-party software that impairs the end user. We've seen this in Special Edition. It's the first time I've heard of any sort of malware is the best way to put it, because it's malicious in nature. It detects if you're using mod drop. I don't know much about it. I've heard it's a good way to package up mods that you found work together and share them with your friends. I really like that. It's a cool idea, and be interesting to see people utilizing that and what they're packaging together. But unfortunately, not everybody's liking that, and somebody went as far as to make some sort of script program. I don't know the details of it because I haven't downloaded it, but that opens so many issues. Not just the end user not being able to use their mod because they have this other software installed. That just doesn't seem right. We're not a business. We're artists or people with a hobby sharing our stuff. There's some of us that want to use these platforms as like, oh, here's my artwork, or here's stuff I've created for job interviews. Okay, but that doesn't give you the right to have something malicious in your mod or creation. Again, a desire for invasive ways to force licensing on end users. There's been discussions all over the place. I read on Reddit about some sort of message box based system. There's ways to do licensing, and forcing it in the middle of a gaming experience, that's poor. You're hurting the immersion on the end user. You're detracting from your creation, at least in my mind, when you do something like that, and you're just going to generate a lot of backlash. And then we see a bunch of mods that are just created for the sake of popularity, not for the purpose of modding, which is just to express yourself. That's hard to judge, but you definitely can tell that there's a lot of copycats out there just trying to get in on the popularity train. It's almost like businesses copying some other person's innovation. I get, to a certain extent, looking at somebody else for inspiration, or, oh, hey, that was cool, I want to do something like that in mine. But if you're straight out copying, that's not good. So, on third-party software, let's look at an example of this. So, FNIS is a For's new idols in Skyrim. It's an animation framework that's used for various animations that you see in some of the scripting extender mods and such out there. And I'm not sure what their purposes are. I don't do a lot of non-vanilla play of Skyrim aside from the mods I create. Okay, now let's look at For's New Idols Nexus page. Notice he's taken 2 precautions in here. One, checking to make sure you have a legal Skyrim Steam installation. 2, to make sure you're not a user of mod drop. And it actually forces you to reinstall the mod if you are a user after uninstalling that program. As a software engineer, I'm highly concerned because you are introducing something who knows what the hell you coded behind it. And I could see it as a tool for potential hackers, depending on how you coded it, which a lot of the source code for open source items out there showcases that it's typically coded poorly. Wow. It also insults a lot of your users to introduce software like that in the first place. I know there's pirates out there, and that's just a fact of the internet world. If you haven't adapted to that fact and just allowed it to, you can't control it. You think you have some way to control it, but you really don't. This simple note here at the bottom that you made, I don't support people that don't support Skyrim, mod authors, blah blah blah. That note would have been fine. But introducing the program, no, that's not an acceptable way. Now let's look at the, albeit an older mod. Some guy's is from Fallout New Vegas. He has only a permission and credits section here, and he tells you, okay, here's what I allow, here's what I don't allow, and then you can scroll on through, and you see there's just some other information to help you get engaged with this mod and with the mod author. That's a really respectful way to approach your end users, even if the end user isn't ultimately respectful to you. Now I want to go with how I take it. I personally, I love just that people are enjoying what I create. I rather know and keep track of how people are using it, but if I don't know, I don't know. If you're sharing it on a thumb drive, if you're uploading it to a Russian site, Italian modding site, I don't know. I'm just shooting off some countries' names that came off to the top of my head. Japanese modding site, I know there's a few out there. Just whatever country that you come from. If you want to do a translation, I'm all for that. I've had a few requests in the past, but none of them have come to fruition. But if you're interested in something like that, I'm all for it. And if you make something that makes enjoying my work easier, I'm also for that. Example here is the Dominion's More Not Nords All-in-One pack that Skyrim Special Edition user put together. With the various tools that out there for merging ESPs together, this person, she's taken the time to actually do that. It's something that's been requested to me a long time. I told her go for it. And that's the type of atmosphere we should be encouraging. We shouldn't be bashing on the end users, bashing on YouTube viewers. We can't be bashing. We have to have a creative atmosphere. We have to share techniques so that future generations of modders can go up and create their own creations, have fun with Skyrim, Fallout, whatever game that has modding support. We're in this together, even if it seems like a competition nowadays. Yeah, that's all I have to say, really. Is something I just put together quick. So, I just wanted to put that out there, put my thoughts out there. Sorry if I've offended anybody. Sorry, established authors or those that agree with some of those trends at the moment. I'm not a fan of it. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. Feel free to disagree or whatever. Leave comments in the section below. Message me if you are really that angry on the Nexus forums. And I will see everybody on whatever I put out next.